Hey. Oh, boy. The con? The march? What are you going to? Yeah. That's today on Trekland. Trekland, Tuesdays Live, number 158. With me, Dr. Trek, Larry Nemecek, coming at you right from the heart of Trekland, right through Portal 47. With the big picture and clarity and sanity in everything Star Trek. And a lot of it on 3 channels now, thanks to our Portales, our Patreons. No, different group. A big shout out here to Blaze K and Lawrence Todd and our TTL Club and our TTL Live Wires. Yep, Rusty Harrell, Jared Cooper, Mr. Vestek, Halbjorn Johnson, and Jay Lynn Bullock. Thank you guys for helping me spread the word finally. Everybody pop it into the chat. Hey, welcome to Trekland Tuesdays Live. If this is your first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're returning, well, you know the drill. But hey, I see the chat is populating up there, and we're on 3 channels. I have not botted up our new Twitch channel to do this yet, but just know that if you're on Twitch, this is not a mere chat. I'm talking to 3 channels at once and to everybody. If we're answering questions later on, there's more people in some channels than others, and you're only seeing your platform. Like YouTube only sees YouTube, Facebook only sees Facebook, and Twitch only sees Twitch. So we will get to questions after the break. Have a surprise with the Parrot ratings this week. The Parrot Analytics ratings this week. You'll see that after the break too. But for right now, I want to get on my soapbox. And yeah, the con, the march, what are you going to? What am I going to? In one case is a case of Muddlehead this week. There's so much going on, guys, I need to tell you. And everything Trek seems to be connected to the outside world. Whether it's our production, Corona delayed. Whether it's what we're doing in our spare time, where our thoughts are, we're Corona-addled and saddled. We are Black Lives Matter, Black Lives, racial justice, inhumanity, economic justice. We're looking at beyond racism, we're looking at policing the entire spectrum of economic situations, economic issues, things that have been papered over for years, even for people way beyond our black population. And some things are global. And all of this seems to tie back to us because we're Star Trek fans, and this is supposed to be the brighter, happier future show, right? That we aspire to. There's a lot of rubber meets the road this week, or maybe rubber meets the pavement. A lot of marching, and at the same time, people are dealing with their jobs, all the coronavirus insanity, the pandemic insanity that's altered our lives so much. It's going to make 2020 not look like the year of great vision, unless somehow it does become just that. So I asked the question, what are you going to do? Now, people that know me know I've always been pro-choice. And, you know, we do still have lots of choices in everything we're doing right now. I've got some specific things over a whole swath of subjects. And at first I've been thinking, how do I tie all this together? But it comes down to, we have a lot of choices that we are making or can make. On the simplest level, are you moved? Have you been persuaded? Were you there from day one? Have you had new insights hit you about the entire racial injustice, Black Lives Matter, social reform, police reform, the revolution cameras, the journalists that are getting beat up at some of these marches and protests, and not from the protesters. I mean, there's a big ugly scab going on, and we're being faced to look at it in the middle of a pandemic. And maybe that's the best way to do it, because everybody has had their parameters reset, I would like to think. Even the people that thought they could defy the pandemic. Numbers are going up now, and it's not because of the protests, although that could happen. the protests and the police response on a mass scale, which is amazing to watch. 95, 98% increasingly very peaceful, and also becoming very productive. It's not just a circle jerk in favor of publicity. It's people actually getting stuff done niche by niche. But at the same time, they're worried about all of this spiking us with another COVID spike. It's happening now in a lot of states, but with a 10, 14-day incubation period. Can you believe the topics that I'm covering now on a Tuesday Live compared to a year ago? But this is where we are. No, this spike is 10, 14 days ago with all the big Memorial Day reopenings because we could. I mean, you know, like even the best intention of people who do like to think they're being rational and following the science, optimism, we do get cabin fever. We do want to be optimistic about this. We do think, oh, the Spanish flu, that was a real flu, and that was 100 years ago, and we're so much smarter now. Our bodies, human physiology, and the viruses that can attack them have really long lifespans. They don't care about what happened last year or 10 years ago or even 100 years ago. And so far, this is pertaining to flow about the way that pandemic in 1918 did, before we were so smart and had so many scientific tools at our disposal and statistical tools, you name it. So yeah, we're sitting here with all these choices. I'm sitting here, I said this on Life Support Live on Saturday. I'm sitting here with a smidgen of guilt because I haven't been down to a protest yet. Oh, I've been boosting Signal. I'm doing what I can there. I'm donating. And most of all, Portal 47 and everything Trekland jumped in on hashtag Trekkies Together, which was a project that came out of the Reddit Star Trek unit, r/Star Trek, and Trek Movie got together, invited a lot of other people. Turned out there were a lot of other people, entities, podcasts, news sites, that were maybe a little miffed that they didn't get on at the beginning because it was done so quickly. We've been talking about that. Go to LarryNemecek.com. It's my top blog story. Yes, I'm actually writing blogging again. But you found it all over the place, at all the sites, at Trek Movie, at Trek Core, at Trek News. A lot of the podcasters are there. And a lot of podcasters are jumping on. There's 9 co-sponsors at the beginning. A lot of my Roddenberry cohorts are there. I just chose Portal 47 as the brand to represent. But we're all there. And what we're all doing, with more coming aboard, like Inglorious Treksperts and Mark Altman, like my friend Chris and the entire Trek FM network. I may be ahead of that announcement, but it's coming. A lot of others are on board. All we're saying is, everybody, whether you can do something hands-on or not, can you donate? Can you donate $47? Not my idea, but hey, I didn't invent the thing. It's great for Star Trek. It's going to stand out, too, in all the columns of donations. But donate $47 to an entity that's involved right now, whether it's very personal, whether it's the George Foster Memorial Fund, although they say they've got plenty, and the memorials are happening yesterday and today as we speak, ongoing. Whether it is Black Lives Matter itself, whether it is, as I was choosing to do, some of this is a broader issue, not to dilute, but broadly, who will be there not only for anybody of a black skin color that's accused or been attacked illegally, but across the board, race issues, economic issues, people distressed who are about to be legally bullied. The ACLU, the good old ACLU, that's there that defends anybody, even some unpopular people, but they defend anybody if legally their civil rights have been abused and challenged. Also, the Southern Poverty Law Center is my secondary. Southern Poverty Law, aside from assisting people with low income with their legal matters, has for about 100 years, identified hate groups. And they have a list, and we're seeing a lot of the hate groups not just responding to what's happening right now, but getting into sabotage, infiltrating, the Boogaloo Boys and that whole thing. 100 years from now, we may look back at Apple as the first engine of social reform in the United States in 100 years. Um, because everyone in their handheld phone, not that all phones are Apple phones, but iPhone was the first, and then Android, yes, and all the brands. The ability to document whatever it is. Yeah, it's been led by racial atrocities here by those who should be in authority, but just everything, documenting everything, has turned a lot of heads and opened a lot of eyes. A lot of people who were well-meaning and had no idea, and that's why we're where we are now. Anyway, Trekkies Together. Look for that hashtag Trekkies Together. A lot of your favorite news sites and blogs are getting involved. All we're saying is donate $47 to our nonprofit, charity, social activist group of choice, legal protection group, if you will. If you go to some of the main, my page has links to what all the groups and what all they're recommending. But yeah, I have ACLU and Southern Poverty Law down. Who knows, that may evolve as time goes by. And if you can't do 47, do half 47. Do what you can. It'll make you feel good, and this is an incredible time in history. This is a time, I dare predict that in 20 years, 30 years, the current iteration of Star Trek at that time, this will be a time that gets time traveled to. We've seen the depth of the Depression be time traveled to. We've seen the birth of the universe. We almost saw the assassination of John F. Kennedy if Gene had his way with his first movie treatment. But yeah, I just have a feeling this is going to be one of those eras that is time traveled to. In the future, it's that pivotal. I think you know that. But that's a choice. That's a choice. No need to feel guilty if you can't be at a protest, although I am going to get down. There's just two of us. I've got a lot of things to think about, as do a lot of the protesters. Thus my white boy guilt. But we're boosting Signal and donating, and I will get down there. Mask and all. Star Trek mask and all. I'm going to get down because they're ongoing, which is the power. We have turned a corner, and people see that power. Now, not to dilute the power and impact of what I've been saying, but the big news within, yes, strictly Star Trek land this week has been, finally, they could announce the move of Star Trek Las Vegas to December. And I hope I'm not making you whipsaw here, going from huge social issue of the decade, of the era, to our little STLV convention moving here. It was kind of like the last one to fall here during all the spring and summer convention season, delays, cancellations, knocked back to the year. So rather than just canceling and going to the next year, yes, Creations announced it in December. They're bucking up into the year. Move the venue because the Rio is still problematic. And I almost dare say maybe Creations got their eye on the future here, you would think, trying out another site. There's not a lot of places that will hold that many that are functional, that fulfill a lot of, the convention center down by the old Hilton, where we used to go every year until 8-9 years ago. It's just a little more isolated, and yes, at least the Caesars, not the Palace, but the Forum, is not connected to the other. And if you're a denizen of either STLV, Star Trek Las Vegas, or just Las Vegas in general, this is behind Harrah's. It's behind the Flamingo, behind the Big Wheel. It's over there on the other side of the Strip, along the Strip and back, almost to Koval. So, second weekend in December, fandom is abuzz about whether they're going to go or not. A lot of people are plunging ahead thinking for sure, surely this virus will be tamped down by December. People making their reservations now. Creation is still juggling. Actors are making decisions. Vendors are making decisions. People are looking at it like, I can't go to anything in December. That's school. We have kids. I have work. I'm involved in the Christmas season some way. And a lot of people having real issues just because of Corona and what will be in a wave 2 by then, or even a wave 3, a second wave. All of that mystery, all of that, just the unknowables that drive us crazy. So yeah, a lot of people are just hedging their bets and making reservations now and hoping it's better and just thinking they'll cancel. If the state of Nevada, the city of Las Vegas, has gone back into some kind of a shutdown for groups of over 100 or over 10, that would obviously be a deciding factor. But it brings it up again. We live in a time right now when we're making choices, sometimes on good information, sometimes on not so good information. We're in a vacuum. And yet, so many have stepped up. We've seen so many step up on the issue of of not killing black men and women, and on taking a hard look at exactly why we have some of the strictures that we have, starting with police. I mean, it's time to, yes, take a step back, take a breath, get a little sanity and clarity in the big picture of everything in that arena, and a broad swath of people too, more than ever before, which is what's making this such a pivotal moment in time. At the same time, we've got folks that are stepping up on the corona side of things too, on the pandemic. And we've talked about that before, but here it's starting to blossom. I gave a thought to jumping in and producing some of my own video events. I wanted to just do some other things like life support live and bolster everybody else, boost the signal, because I know eventually conventions, agents would get involved, and that's exactly what's happened. Also, some new folks have jumped in. One of them is coming up Sunday. This Sunday, I wanted to tell you about. It hasn't gotten the signal boost of virtual Trekland. That's Ciroc and Ryan Husk's big weekend coming up the end of July. That's big. That's July 22nd to the 27th. It's kind of a quasi replacement for San Diego Comic-Con time-wise, but it's all Trek. A lot of folks it's just getting started. It's at virtualtrekcon.com. I'm going to be involved. I'll be guesting, hopefully doing some moderating too. I've told them, and it's growing. And it's free. I'm sure there will be some upsells, things you can buy, souvenirs and other kind of things, but it's basically free. I also wanted to let you know, though, about Lockdown Con, which my friend Neil's doing at the end of this month, at the end of June. It's a quasi-replacement for San Diego Comic-Con. Lots of writers across the board. I'll be involved. I've got a panel with Andre Bormanis and Dr. Ali from Life Support Live talking about optimism in science fiction and Star Trek. We'll be doing that over the weekend. Lots of other writer types, especially across science fiction and sci-fi TV film, are going to be doing panels of all kinds. That's Lockdown Con. That'll also be free and virtual at the end of the month. But Sunday, June 14th, coming up, is a wonderful project called Connected Community Con that our friends at Science Division, the one with the animated tribbles by app, with a chip inside, they've launched a humble little project that I hope gets a lot of attention. I'm going to be doing what I can now between now and Sunday to promote, because I'm going to be doing one of the virtual vendor rooms, and it was set up to help the vendors, especially, that are going to be hurt by the lack of cons this year. So it's a great time for your Etsy type crafter, podcasters, people that you don't know what the hell they do, like me. Virtual Zoom rooms, where each Zoom room you'll have addresses. There's 15, 20 people by now. You walk around as you would in a dealer's room, in an exhibition room, vendor room. But you navigate between Zoom rooms and talk, ask questions. They're demoing, they're just chatting, just like you would at a vendor table. That'll be from noon to 3 Pacific, it's Sunday afternoon. I want to say it's 3 to 6 Eastern, noon to 3 Pacific. Anyway, go to sciencediv.com. That's their webpage for selling tribbles, all things third generation tribbles. But while you're there, look around. But also look for Connected Con and find out all the folks that are going to be there. Some of our podcast colleagues are going to be there. I know Daily Star Trek News and Women at Warp And now I'm leaving out people I should be helping promote. But they're all there. A lot of crafter people are there too. And then my friend, 24-year-old Trekkie, is going to be leading a panel on optimism in Trek. It'll be a virtual panel. I'm going to do something in the game arena, trivia or something. There's going to be a music guest. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun. You probably haven't heard about it. It's just ramping up. But hey, it's Sunday. It'll be Sunday afternoon. Check the times. Go to sciencediv.com. Look for Connected Con. It's being promoted now all over the Facebook groups. I'll be jumping in. This was kind of the first step. That's helping another segment of the folks who have been hit hard by the loss of live events. I get it. I get it. And a lot of the vendors, once you're in their room, will gladly point you over to how you can pick up, how you can purchase whatever it is that they're into. Or if they're just promoting, be happy to sign you up on their list or their Facebook page, get you in the know with what they're doing. So it's all these ways everyone is coping, all the way up to the actors. There's this whole free component. It's been amazing, being virtual and being free, taking the sting out of, not being able to go to the Masquerade Bar at the Rio this year, but taking the sting out of not having anything. And also, a lot of you convention veterans may not be aware just how much this is bringing the convention experience, even in a Zoomified way, to all these people that never got to go to one or go to a major big con beyond their small local regional city convention, which is awesome. But the ability to fund that amount of guesting, those celebrities, those guests, and behind the scenes folks, is really kind of revolutionary. And again, I go back to what's going to be residual out of the pandemic experience once we do go back to quote unquote normal. How much of this virtuality will carry on? Is it going to be a cheap ticket for people to be able to go to Comic-Con or Vegas or you name it? The big chain con near you, if it's a Wizard World or it's a Reed Pop show, or your local fan event. Because I don't know if, I might not be on top of this, but I've heard many fan groups have pretty tech-savvy folks involved. So we'll see. We'll see what the big residual effect is. But the big residual effect right now is that events like Connected Comedy Con this Sunday, Lockdown Con the end of June, Virtual Trek Con the end of July, all the events that Galaxy Con in Florida is dribbling out in an ongoing way. Check your schedules there. Some of the rest. Creation, in fact, doing some. Keeping the spirit alive, keeping the connection alive, and sometimes bringing an entire new connection. Still, it's going to be a choice. It's going to be a choice. Do you go to STLV? Do you go to conventions when they come back? If it feels early, what will be the feel? A lot of it's unknowable. We don't know what track the virus is going to do. We don't know the track coming out of too soon open-ups. We don't know the track coming out of all the protests, although people, if they would stand in line to vote in April in Wisconsin, and apparently again right now because we're not fully into a mail-in situation, because all the states that have been doing it for years have had such big mail fraud numbers. I'm being sarcastic. But depending on how many people we can safely get in a comfort zone that don't feel like they have to sacrifice their life and their health to go vote, the rest of commerce is on that same curve. So yeah. Every week, I look to see what we can talk about here, what I can address, especially what may be under the radar. And, you can't ignore the two big stories, from the one big story of the year to the two big stories of the year this year with us. You can't ignore it, even as we continue to have ripples. When will Picard be back? When will we get to shoot? When will Discovery get to air? Are there any short treks coming along that have been under the radar? CBS has done an awful good job of hiding that were planned for the interim. I don't think so, but we'll see. We'll see. Meanwhile, they're doing an awesome job of presenting behind-the-scenes documentary material right now. And right now, Short Treks the Disc is on sale. I've yet to do my review, but you can read all about it. You can order it, and it's Yeah, I know all you globally. It'll be your first time to even see the second wave of short treks. Yeah. So, the con, the march, everything it seems. What are you going to do? Hey, after the break, I'll get to some questions. I just want to let everybody know that, just to repeat there, I mentioned all of our Patreon folks. It's very simple. $5, $10. I don't make a big complicated machine out of it. Patreon.com, the way you can support creatives in all different fields, ongoing or one-off projects. Mine is Tuesdays Live. Patreon.com/Trekland Live. Yes. Pay attention to your lion eyes, not me. Trekland Live at Patreon.com. $5, $10. $5 gets you a shout out. $10 gets you that, plus the ever elusive links to the first generation of Portal 47 interviews. No, seriously, guys, really. My excuse has been 2020. Meanwhile, this week on the Trek Files, excited to have Dr. Aaron Mack back with us. Go check it out right now at the Trek Files on Facebook, and that's where the document is. But if you're a professional podcatcher, you can go to podcast.roddenberry.com and find it in all the places. It's hashtag the Trek Files on Facebook, and so many other great podcasts from the Roddenberry Network. Everybody's adjusting. Everybody's staying up. Yeah. Dr. Aaron Mack and I talk about science and science consulting. Again, hey, it's winding down, but I also want to remind you about Nonfiction Friday. This is our next to last event. I know, for now, in the current iteration. It was always going to be a COVID crisis. You're locked at home. Well, a lot of folks aren't so locked at home. It's geared at Friday afternoon. We're going to do a couple more. Friday at 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, 11 British summertime, right? 3 and 8 is 11, yes. Our book this week, we've already decided, is a series of books. Anybody remember the Nitpicker's Guides? Yeah, we're kind of out of the official manual and the official making of guides for this week. Had a lot of requests to do the Nitpicker's Guides for Next Generation 1 and 2, Classic Trek, Original Series, and the first version of DS9, earliest years, before the entire series was self-canceled, as it were. We'll talk about that. But that's Friday. It's a Zoom meeting. Go to the Facebook page, Nonfiction Fridays, and you'll get the Zoom ID and the password hint, as always, and the chance to take part in any conversations going on there. Most of all, I'm so proud of Life Support Live on Saturdays. We just bumped up to 10 a.m. I do have it on here, right? Yes, we're at 10 now. 10 Pacific, 1 Eastern, 6 British summertime, 7 Central European summertime. We vote on a topic each week. Go to the Facebook page for Life Support Live. We're voting on the topic for this week as we speak. It's Dr. Ali and Dr. Trek. One of us is a real doctor, and we're boldly going through uncertain times. Launched it as a lost project from canceled WonderCon. Launched it during the coronavirus anxiety and stress, and look at where we are. So help us pick this week's theme and Star Trek reference. It's all Star Trek geekery through a mental health lens, and you'll wind up with some of Dr. Ali's away team tips that you can use in daily life, whatever our topic is this week. We've had everything from anxiety and sleep to, yes, depression the last few weeks. Join us. We have a great conversation. It's live streamed on 3 platforms, just like I'm doing now. And it's archived there, too, just like we're doing now on YouTube. And YouTube, yes. YouTube at Larry Nemecek. If you're watching us right now, you know that. It's the same thing as my Twitter. And if you're watching us at Larry Nemecek's Trekland on Facebook, well, that's my Instagram too. And listen, I want to thank everybody for the support. We'll get to the questions here after the break in just a second. But I want to thank everybody for your Patreon support. But if you want to do more than that and just dive into Trekland full bore, just come on over to Trekland Trekland, Trekland, come over to Portal 47, portal47.net. It's really is a mini con all year long, every week. We've been virtually meeting around the globe since 2015. We were pioneering this thing, but also pioneering a lot of voices and insights, and yes, archives that you've not seen. Even still, love to have a lot of you with us in the portal if you can. Well, that's it for now. We will be right back after the break. Hopefully those of you eventually on YouTube, this is going to do it. But for right now, as always, I got to say, you know what to do. Stay healthy. Stay woke in all the ways, including checking your sources. Most of all, more than ever. Truck well, everybody. Okay. How was that for a break? This will all make sense in due time, guys, in due time. I'm going to reset for questions because, surprise, surprise, the surprise of Parrot Analytics this week is there's no weekly insight. I don't know if they took a break. I don't know what's going on. They're still pumping out material. I hope that this isn't part of some big change. Well, if it is, it is. If they're not providing free insight lists for the U.S. market after this, if this has just been a hiccup, fine. That may be the end of the Parrot Analytics reports. They just changed the reporting methodology, not their basic average demand expressions, but how they expressed it in public listings as percentage of popularity increase over an average show. Popularity in average demand expressions always, right? Not just raw viewer numbers or estimates even. So we'll see. Bottom line, no parrots, no Parrot Analytics this week. No Star Trek's been involved. We'll see. We'll see when we get Discovery Season 3 back at some point past. This was kind of the intended month of... had there been no COVID to slow down scoring and recording music and all the post effects, this would have been the debut. We've been talking about, big time talking about the return of Discovery right now. But that's in the future and up in the air as so many parts of life are right now, much less starting to film on Picard, much less getting going, building sets, etc. Well, new sets anyway, for Strange New World. Yes, it's all down the pike sometime. So let's look at questions. I'd be able to see it from here, but I can't. For some reason, Restream does not do a mobile app, which makes no sense. Let me reset, hopefully without upsetting the apple cart too badly, and we will. This is why this is just live for Facebook and won't be archived on YouTube. Isn't that so? If I had a real dolly and a real dolly track and a real dolly grip, this would be a little easier. Yes, I know, we're slanted. We are slanted. Let me readjust. And sorry guys, you're just gonna get the warehouse side, okay? You're just gonna get the warehouse side of, unless I, here we go. All right, scintillating video. Let's see what we've got. These are all the unopened spec scripts that never got sent back to their writers during Next Generation and Voyager. It looks like it always reminds me of the script office from the glory days in the Hart Building. Okay, let's see if we can't do this a little better. So, I didn't mention to all of our Twitch folks about how there's only one question time, right? So if you feel like you were offended by me not talking to you in the moment, once again, I'm really sorry. I meant to remind everybody about that, but we will see. Yay, I think I've got it from the beginning. Why can I not do this? Here we go. This is being kind of a pain. I wonder if I open in a new window, it's going to be an empty window. Yep, okay, fine, forget it. I'll just do it the old-fashioned. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. All right. Good to see everybody. Yes. I caught my Portales early there. Oh, I was on hot mic. Well, I'm either not on. I can't get the system to accept this mic, or I'm either cold or hot. That figures. We're back and forth. Hey, Blake, Tryon, North Carolina. I've been there once. Good to see you, Blake. Yeah. Well, see, T Hamer 6464 on Twitch is trying to tell me that I got 0 view, and I wish I could have been able to tell him that Twitch is an afterthought. It's the icing, not the cake. So there we go. That's funny. Hey, Daniel has actual question. I have a question about Enterprise as I'm rewatching it. Oh, I can do the thing Ali does on Saturdays. Look at that. I have a question about Enterprise as I'm rewatching it. Was the serialized approach of season 3 a production decky? Was it a production decision or a network directive? No, it was a production decision. The network directive was get your numbers up or you're out of here. We don't care how you do it. So the serialized format was totally producer decision. But when they started the season, it was planned enough that the cliffhanger of season 2, right? The Expanse was, was it The Expanse? I think so. The cliffhanger of season 2 was designed to set it up to launch the story, but as they went to the break and the new year, they had no idea. Rick and Brandon had no idea how long they would stay in the Expanse or what it would look like. They thought maybe it might just be 5, 6, 7 shows. You know, do what DS9 had done and done 6 at a time, you know, whatever. It wasn't, and there's rough starts and stops the first 2 or 3 shows, but as they got used to it, they said, well, hell, let's just do the whole season. After it got in, it picked up steam, and they had evolved enough background to be able to support, you know, all the Xindi races got fleshed out. All the map of things. They figured out a way to get Shran and the Andorians, at least get some familiar faces from back home in. You know, nobody coming through a caretaker wormhole into the Expanse kind of a thing. So, yeah. There we go. Yay. Oh! Thank you, Cairo47, for being my Twitch bot. Thank you, guys. Oh, and thank you, Raceland53. Sorry you couldn't find it on Trekland. I hope people are there, so I know it's there. Clayton says, do psychological profiles on the police to find the mean, vicious psychopaths hiding behind the badges. That's true, but you've also got an awful lot of people in the rank system. You saw that with in Minneapolis. You've got underlings that want to do something, or the guy that started to help up the elderly man that was bashed, the 75-year-old white guy that was knocked down in Buffalo. You saw people start to do the right thing, and then you know, be directed not to, or fear of a senior ranking person overruling them, or being knocked down, or being froze out of promotion. So it's even beyond the surface of what you think might be going on. Let's see. Rebecca says the UK is slowly reopening things. Apparently non-essential shops will open next week, but I'm still going to try to stay away as long as possible, which I think is pretty universal. It's kind of amazing to see all these protests happening, and police, and seeing people call out the police. that don't have their badge on. I'm gonna see if I can bring this down just a little more. There we go, a little more sane. Cairo says, for the moment, the pandemic is running differently than the Spanish flu 100 years ago, but this is a Trek channel. I will not talk about this any further here. Okay, oops, well, I did. But, yeah. Because everything is affecting everything else right now, guys. It's very hard to go off and live in a cave on one thing. I don't, if it's your kids, if it's your work. I mean, everything is bound up in this. And in the pandemic. And increasingly, it's being bound up in this social upheaval that we're part of. Maybe that we'll finally have some actual, not just about racism, but a whole lot of social issues that are right in Star Trek's alley. Yeah. Glenn, yeah, if the death rate drops, even if the cases go up, if that's what herd immunity is asserting itself, that would be awesome. It's just kind of, we'll just see. We'll just see. Also, if we can trust all the numbers being reported and there's not finagling on definitions of death or even looking the other way, which is sadly being asserted in at least 3 or 4 states like Florida. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Dr. Dave, for the update. Yeah, everything you're saying, everything from your COVID reactions and social whatevering and Zooming and keeping your fandom going to supporting the revolution that's 50 or 100 or 400 years late is all awesome. Yeah. I hope I didn't, yeah, guys, I hope I didn't try to stitch too much together today. There's so much going on. I wanted to talk about it all, but not dilute any one thing because it's what we're talking about. It's what's in our faces to one degree or another. And I just thought if I stitched it together on the element of choice, because we're all making choices about all kinds of things, that would be the hook that would make all this make sense, at least to some degree. So I hope I didn't drive anyone crazy with too wide a view there. But thanks. Good deal. Okay. Good idea, Glenn. A rebuilding fund. Yeah. Yeah, it'll take Cairo. It will take on Twitch. It will take it'll take an effort to get used to the new Caesar Forum Convention Center. Yep. Yes, Dan. The birth of the universe with the Big Bang and Death Wish, start of life on Earth and all good things. Yes, the primordial ooze. And I know all you Europeans are wondering about DST, the German DST in what, October? And then London after that, next month? Rebecca says, you're actually more nervous about the flying than you would be about actually being at the convention. Very true. You've got airports and planes. Yes. Oh, really? Hey, thank you for this, Justin. Justin says Planet Comic-Con Kansas City is still being held. You got me there. I've heard of it. Don't have the dates right off the top of my head. Maybe you or somebody can put that in. and how far down the line it is, and maybe they're in a force majeure act of God situation where they want to cancel but they can't, or their state's already opening up for big groups again. And yeah, I don't envy those entities, because if they've legally got no leg to stand on and they know their fan base is not going to turn out in big numbers and they only have a shell of an event, did they avoid, is the loss worse than if they just canceled and taken the penalty fees? Because somebody some venue insisted on collecting them. I don't know. Mark Flessa says his long-term hope for Star Trek conventions eventually can expand to several large conventions a year in different locations. Keep the one in Vegas for West Coasters, have one in New York City or somewhere in the East, and have one in the Midwest, Chicago. Yeah. And maybe even eventually one in the South, although Atlanta may think, oh, it's impeding on DragonCon. Although this would be a Trek only, which is kind of then off the books for not really competing with any kind of large Comic-Con or multi-franchise convention. Just an all-Trek one. And does that, people show up from Vegas from all over the country and around the world. So would having 3 a year across the states, maybe one in the southern tier of Canada somewhere, would that dilute the impact of any one? Would it be cool to have a traveling Trek convention like the way Worldcon is done and some of the other, World Fantasy Con, I believe, some of them that have bids like the Olympics are, a traveling single national convention that gets around eventually to counter that? I don't know. If we have 3 or 4 official Trek ones, does that dilute all of them? We'll see. We'll see. I mean, it is going to be the next golden era of Star Trek, so we'll see. We'll see what the demand goes up. Yes, Daniel, it's European Ask Dr. Trek at Portal 47 this week, tomorrow. Tomorrow, just before this time. So I've got to get the reminders out. It's been kind of crazy. Now yes. Stop with the excuses, Larry. It's 2020. We all know. So yes, European Ask Dr. Trek midday is tomorrow. Yeah, Creation used to run one in Chicago. I think the voices about Chicago being heard are being heard. We'll see that. We'll see. See, a lot of this is what will the audience happen. I just mentioned it, but to hit it again, as new Star Trek is out there, as the animated shows get out there, and kids are more involved, perhaps teens, preteens, cosplaying preteens, tweens, we'll see what the demand level that'll drive the market as much as anything. It's not just this academic exercise in where should I have a con. It's dollars and cents and numbers, guys. Oh, okay. Yeah, it would be. I mean, I think Cairo 47 on Twitch is talking about the European time zones with the Connected Community Con that will be Sunday, probably be mid-evening for Europe, into close to midnight or after. It'll be over 4 or 5 hours. 3 hours is the virtual vendor room Zooming, and then 2 or 3 hours of a single panel and single events after that. There's not competing events. They have no idea about the turnout, so they didn't want to split up a small turnout among like a normal panel track for 2 or 3 hours. So it's going to be simple on the back end. It's a one-day experiment, and we'll see. And its biggest thing, it's just to give the vendor end of fandom and the convention business a boost, because they're not, everybody's thrilled to see actors and creatives in virtual panels, but that's not the whole convention experience, and that's not replacing the money lost by everybody involved in the convention business. Yeah. You know what? I wonder. Oh my God, I can do this from here. How crazy. Um, yeah, Raceland53 on Twitch is saying, talking about STLV, it's going to be weird to have the convention on the strip side of the strip. That say what you will about the Rio, but it was a little more isolated, so we weren't part of the insanity unless we wanted to be. And a lot of people have been screaming to have the convention on the strip somewhere. So we'll see. Be careful what you wish for, Lieutenant. You may get it. We will see what happens. Tim says, Kirk may have been brave to say risk is our business and noble, but this is a pandemic. Yes. Yeah, Rebecca, I did mention GalaxyCon. GalaxyCon is certainly upping their profile beyond their region. A lot of people had never heard outside the rest of the country and may not be able to go once things are live and normal again. But they've certainly upped their profile running virtual, yeah. Which if you guys were with me back on like March 10th, I was trying to say all this was going to happen. Hopefully it would be a matter of who was going to step up and do it. And then, of course, the sheep stampede would happen and everybody would be doing it eventually. Oh, thank you, Dick Davies is saying, talking about the last Creation Chicago. It was right after Vegas. Everybody was exhausted. It wasn't as well attended at the beginning of the school year, and that was the last one, yeah. And yes, Cairo 47. The Rio has been sold. A different management company has it. The management contract, the Caesars that owned it is managing it for a couple years into a transition. They're all seeing what's going on. Obviously, the coronavirus pandemic has altered plans and pushed things back. Whatever had been planned, if it's going to be totally torn down or rebuilt, restructured, redressed. You're welcome, Daniel, for Life Support Live and Nonfiction Friday. Yeah, I just can't do everything. And Life Support Live at the moment, as much as Nonfiction Friday feels like a comfortable old pair of shoes, slippers, you know, Life Support Live is the thing that's got me really excited, and Ali is excited, and I think we can get a lot more people excited. And I'm going to put my extra energy into that for now. And Nonfiction Friday is not going away. It's going to be around in some form, and we may bring it back that way too. Nonfiction Friday, I kept trying to break through to younger fans that didn't know what the classic nonfiction books were about. Maybe we'll have to find another way to do that, or a venue, or come back around at it when we don't have so many distractions. I'm sure Cairo 47 that there'll be a replacement for the Masquerade Bar somehow. Although, yes, a bit more size doesn't necessarily mean, all it means, I mean, the Rio was bigger than the Hilton, and the first year everybody was 10 minutes late to everybody was 10 minutes late for everything because we were just not interpreting this time scale right, and people were tired, and that's when you started seeing the scooters popping up for everybody. Just because it's exhausting to go back and forth if that's what you have to do. Till we got the headset and the mindset for planning. Rebecca thinks that cons are going to be into, unless if they're big enough. If they're smalls, probably not, or startups. But she says no day of ticket sales so they can better control the numbers and anticipate. And more virtual queuing. Well, in the short term, yes. Dan, I will be posting the detail. Yes. Dan, I will put the details of the virtual cons in text as soon as I'm off camera. I'll put it in this stream. You're on Facebook. I'll put it in all three streams. More importantly, I'll be tweeting and posting and Facebooking about, especially right now in our face, about Connected Community Con. Again, that's Sunday the 14th. It's 3 to 6 Eastern, 12 to 3 Pacific, which would be 8 to 11 BST for the vendor, for the vendor room hours where you can go from Zoom room to Zoom room as you would go from a booth to a booth in a vendor room. And then Ali's panel about optimism in Star Trek and in your daily life is the hour after that. And then there's either a music guest and then me doing some kind of a fun game thing with prizes, or me and then a music thing. I haven't seen what's posted. They're supposed to be posting it today. So stay tuned on that. I'll keep everybody be in my channels. And if you're not on my news list, get on my news list. I'm going to be ramping that back up again too. LarryNemecek.com. You get that free sample of Robert Butler, who directed The Cage, if you sign up, by the way. Glenn says, I wonder if they'll discount the STLV tickets to get people back. Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see what the whole reaction to that is. Why can I not? Guys, there we go. Yeah. Having a lot of discussion about what all our conventions are going to like, especially the first wave. Seeing short treks in Europe for the first time legally, we'll say, without the DVD police running, or the rip and run police coming after you. Yeah. Hey, Rose. Yes, some of I think the Galaxy, Rose says, has anyone thought about autographed pictures or bags of goodies mailed? They are upselling. In other words, they're having free virtual panels at the GalaxyCon series. But if you want to pay for an autograph or, some such on the side, you can. And so there is that. Hello. Why can I not? Oh, Narda's hoping they don't bring. If the Outback has survived so far, I hope they don't bring too many tourists in to get to. Oh, Dan, how about Mark Okren's Klingon Dictionary? I know. Well, you're talking about Nonfiction Friday. The last Nonfiction Friday is going to be a show and tell, and it's going to be everybody bring the book you wish we'd gotten to for now. So it's going to be a show and tell. So I would say, I'm going to say this also, don't only bring one book, bring two. And then if somebody else brings the same book, you've got a backup. So have the Klingon Dictionary be one of your books to have, just in case. Dan loves the Nitpicker's Guide. So, yes, I'm going to see if Phil can make it Friday. He's Central Time, so that would be 5. I don't know if he's at a job where he can't get away. Hopefully he's got a job. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I'm amazed at how I hear people all the time say, gosh, whatever happened to that guy? And I'm like, he's still there. Thankfully, he had other things to do in his life when they shut down the series. When his publisher shut it down, not Paramount. Everybody talking about what this will all look like. Yeah. Hi, Jana Wee. I know you've been new. I am trying to say Facebook and Twitch and YouTube. Yeah, Raceland53 on Twitch is one of the rumors. Is if Rio is torn down, it'll be replaced by a Major League Baseball stadium. It's very much been a rumor. Of course, a lot of times things aren't just rumors; they're fully intended intentions, and then it gets into the politics of construction and baseball and the sport at hand, like what happened in LA a few years back with the returning NFL football to LA, and you had competing sites. It was no rumor. Thank you, Tim. Tim is saying, I'm going to show this one. Yay. Well, we only get 2 lines. Not so much. He says he's really enjoying Life Support Live on Saturdays. Thank you very much. Please, everybody, spread the word. Like and subscribe and share. Even if you're not on YouTube, go over and like my YouTube channel. Let's get out of that. How long do Dr. Ali and I expect it to continue? Indefinitely or until the lockdown comes to an end? Well, we are both enjoying it a hell of a lot. And we can see the good it can do, and we can see the potential in even growing it. So we want to keep it going. If anything makes it come to an end, it'll be temporary, and it'll be just because something is going on in our lives, like moving it to 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern. We had to move it up 2 hours just to fit his family, because he and his wife and their 2-year-old are all in bunker, and it's crazy. And other things going on in life, other projects and things. We've talked about it. But we both wanted to go on, and if we have to take a short hiatus, we will. But yes. Yeah, we've said I launched both of those saying it's for the duration. And even as, yes, we've decided to put our eggs in that basket for a while. We need a Johnny jingle for the break. I know. Should I run the lounge mix, the Star Trek original series lounge mix? I don't know. We'll see. We'll be right back with Tuesday Trekland Live. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Somebody out there creative want to come up with something. I'd be totally happy with that. The green girl from Orion goes walking in. Green girl from Orion goes. Oh, I can totally see that. I can totally see that. Jinx. Oh, you got words already. Okay. Oops. Yes, Christoph. No Facebook interruption in ages. Of course, now I'm restreaming. I'm not directly going to Facebook, which makes me think maybe it was something in my iPhone capacity. It's one thing I started to guess about. Oh, Cairo 47. Robert, you said the conference. Conference, I always think of boring business things, and I'm always correcting my business friends when they say, so Larry, when you go to a conference, I go, it's a convention, not a conference, but con. Oh, there we go. Now we're back up to the thing. Yes. Slanted or slandered. Okay, at least I'm able to sit back here in a big picture. Talk about the big picture of Star Trek. You get the whole ugly mess here. Come on. If you're doing that, why aren't you doing this? There we go. My granddaughter might have a dolly for me. Yes. Hello, Dolly. Oh, a tour of my house. It would be a short tour, except it wouldn't be because there's like piles of everything, endemic piles. Hi, Brian Bartlett. I was wondering if you'd be interested in doing a podcast for Tulsa Pop Kids later on this year. Let me think. Tulsa as in Sooner State, Tulsa? I think so, yeah. We'll talk. We'll talk. Brian. Oh, yes, Brian, you talking about Connected Community Con? Yes. Or are you talking about Trekkies Together? Either way, yes, we'll talk. No, Rebecca, you're not the only one with boxes. And this started off as the Trekland trunk collection coming in for auctioning every week. A new gizmo. Oh. Huh. How did I not get it off? You're right. I didn't get it. Okay. The question was way back up here. Did I have to? Oh, my God. And now we're doing this. Now I'm going to find you. Here we go. Is that how I get rid of it? Well, Tim, you're going to have the question that would not die, apparently. Oh. That's interesting. I had to click somewhere else. I didn't have to do that the first time. Very interesting. Okay. Yes, new gizmo I'm figuring out. I'm figuring out how to scroll remotely with a mouse off the pad. get back into here. Thank you, though. It's stuck. It's not stuck now. How far behind am I? Oh my God, I'm 25 minutes. Hey, Bill. I have the con. Hoping more statues come down and get tossed in rivers. Is that what they did with the British slave trader statue? Raceland53 says, if STLV is moved to Caesars, does this mean everyone will pay for parking? You didn't have to worry about that at the Rio. I don't know. It's not, just bear in mind that it's not Caesar's Palace. It's the Caesar's Forum, where actually the hotels that are adjacent are the Harrah's and secondarily the Flamingo. And there's a little one called the Link. And people are all jockeying and figuring this out. Maybe there'll be a reduced rate. You know, hopefully, if that's going to be a convention there, that they had planned that even if there was a cost for parking, that there would be at least some kind of super duper discount for multi-day conventions, because that's going to be discouraging to events. Events have people come from all over the country that don't want to pay for parking either. I don't know what the situation is at the Vegas Convention Center that's just south of the old Hilton. But they have a big parking lot area. There's a structure at the Forum Convention Center, and don't be confused. The Caesars Forum Convention Center is not even attached to the Caesars Forum, the Forum shops, because the Forum shops are attached to Caesars Palace. It's totally the other side of the strip. This is on the other block, but on the back side of the block. It's actually between. I was looking at this the other night when I was doing 5,000 things at once. That will be a big deal. Oh, FedCon and DST or Germany are on the same weekend? Oh my God. Oh, well, yes. Robert, I got ahead of you there. Sorry, Cairo47 on Twitch. Thank you, Justin. Planet Comic-Con is August 14th, 16th. That would be the week after STLV would have been. Moved from April. We'll see. We'll see. I'll be real. Now, thank you for that. We'll be watching to see what happens. And, pop in on any of my channels and let us know. Let me know if I don't happen to catch it. Yes. Raceland53. You lived in Vegas. Why would you go to the Strip? Oh, my God. Toronto Trek happened, Rebecca? Okay. Yeah, then Polaris. Hey, Meetin Benamidum on Twitch. Is it restream? Yes. Thank you, Cairo47, for talking to the Twitchers there. Yay! We have a positive customer service interaction. Thank you, Robert, on Twitch. Hey, Dan. Yeah, they're there. They'll be different by the time you get back. There you go. Yeah, yes, Robert, I was teasing, and then somewhere along the way I just decided I had to start calling you Robert. We're on time delay. Why can't we have a preview to see things, Rose? I'm not sure what you mean. Hey, yes, yes. See Leckleitner 42 on Twitch. So Christoph, yes. Connection Con Sunday starts at 9 Europe. Yes, it'll be 9 to midnight for the vendor room, Zoom rooms, which are 3 hours, just open-ended 3 hours. Each person's depending on what they're doing, and then at midnight your time, Central Europe, will be Ali's panel, and then 1 a.m. will be whatever I'm doing, or the musician, and then 2 a.m. the other one. So that part will get wee hours. I know what Kaiser means. Yes, yes. And not just the former title of the ruler of the German Empire. It means king. Yeah. Hey, Mark, your first creation was in Hawaii? Yeah, yeah. The old creations, when they do 10 a weekend, somewhere in the States, it was you had the dealer room and the not dealer room, because all the local fandoms would always make fun of creations as the carpetbagger cons, the chain con, we used to say, or the carpetbaggers, yeah. Yep. Thank you, Christoph, for putting the link for Connected Community Con in here right now. You guys, I love I can depend on you. Well, the Rio is getting a little rundown, yeah, or a lot rundown. Hello, Jana, and thanks, new to the community here, and thanks for sharing about your experience at the European cons. One thing I love about all of these groups, guys, Portal 47, it happens. This thing bridges the continents. We're bridging the oceans. Well, we've got Narda from the outback of all things, not even Melbourne or Sydney, Australia, or any Kiwis from New Zealand, or anybody from East Asia. Rose, I don't know. Why don't you ask Creation? Maybe they're being very hesitant because they don't want to take away traffic from the conventions they hope they do have, or money potential. But GalaxyCon is doing upsells where you can get photos and things at the moment. Brits like to queue. Yeah, I've seen some chatter about Hera's Hotel. Boy, we're just hopping all over the place, but that's Tuesday Live. I probably should start wrapping up, but I'm going to see where we are on conventions. Yeah. People will park elsewhere and Uber over if they're not just staying at one of the hotels and getting their parking there. 2020 lasts another 6 months. We'll see. Hey, Scott, glad you can make it too. Someone needs to make a jingle for the live streaming shows. Yeah, or differentiate between whatever. I need a midway break. When I finally get back where I can actually edit the YouTubes and cut them off at 30 minutes so people aren't running away screaming at an hour and a half or 2 hour time limit on YouTube, because that's what happens. I know, Scott. I know it's not even the corner over the slides need to be. I keep finding more slides. Tim, no, everything is here. A wall in my bedroom and then a gradually smaller storage unit here in our apartments, including the last 6 years of Communicator, maybe 3 to 20 issues of all the back issues. I could actually run back issues of Communicator sales here. The question of forever. For as long as your restream burned hot on my screen. Dan. Okay. I did have many years of voice along with my piano. Yeah. Okay, maybe it's getting time to wrap this up now. Don't provoke him. Yeah. Oh boy. Barbershop singing Booleans. I don't know how this is going to go. Is barbershop singing an American cultural thing? Okay, there we go. Hey, Cairo 47, Robert. I love how you bring up the thing that you probably should not talk about in public. We'll see. I hope you guys don't survive the coronavirus only to fall victim to fan nuking, convention nuking. Narda, the whole thing about statues in the States is I can see talking about the statues, even the reviled ones as part of history. I'm totally there. The point is, are they going to be out in a public park or are they going to be in a museum of things we now revile? Because the way you're presenting the statue is totally different. Having it out on a public park or a public byway where everybody has to walk past it every day, the context is what people object to. Now, wrecking statues, it's much more fun to go up and blow up Stalin's and Gaddafi's and Idi Amin's and what's his name in Iraq. It's a lot more fun to do that, or Robert E. Lee, to blow them up for the satisfaction in the moment as to stick them down in a museum so 100 years from now someone more dispassionate can look at it. Are there any statues of Nero still up from ancient times? I bet there are, or they've been put back together. I speak German a bit. I speak German a bit, but we'll see. Did I speak some German on the run? Oh, Kaiser Soze. Yes. King socks. No, I'm kidding. What does Soze mean in German? There you go. All right. We've got a lot of chat going on. Any real questions? Any real questions? Hey, Ricky. Hi. You're not going to STLV this year. Glad you could get on the stream, Ricky. Yeah. Well, the jury's going to be out. Like I said, a lot of people are feeling like they're brave enough and things are calming down now, or they think, well, here's what it is now. 6 months from now, oh, surely. Well, if we have another wave come roaring back, then all bets are off. And again, if it's that bad, then the government, Nevada State or Las Vegas City will do something about it, or Clark County, whatever it is. There you go. Thank you, Christoph, for the Wikipedia on barbershop quartetting. This is going to be a killer chat. I hope I can save the whole thing. Caesar's Forum. I was reading about Caesar's Forum. The new STL venue is so new that it was supposed to have opened. It was built new and was going to open this spring, and it's all been put off for Corona. So STLV is going to be one of the first things to be held there. And that, to me, that sounds like there'll be a lot of beta testing going on of everything physical and procedural and logistical. So that'll be a lot of fun. If you're there, you can say you were there the year they figured everything out. Saddam Hussein, thank you. Like I didn't say Saddam Hussein 50 times a day for 10 years. Oh, Dan. Well, that was fast. Your dad's not named Uncle Wiki, right? Okay. He says there are no Nero statues anymore. There you go. They're paintings, maybe? There's some representations of what Nero looked like, I'm thinking. Let's see. Okay, well, we got... Guys, I'm sorry. You thought of a question and have now forgotten it. How did I lose my big... I think we're down to the end anyway. Yay. Okay, guys, wow. That was kind of amazingly long. I'm not going to reset. But I do want to say, just to recap, yeah. We all have choices on all these things. We're all going to be debating it. And we're talking about choices that we don't have all the information for. Some of that's just going to come in time. In the case of STLV and later conventions, it's a wait and see. In the case of what we're doing right now about our reaction to our social upheaval, to Black Lives Matter, to policing reforms, to just the list of social justice reform. It's not just this layer. You peel back this very touchy, controversial, and raw layer, there's really 5 or 6 other related things attached to it. Some of the social issues about pure racism are not just about, as someone the other day said, not about policing. You got housing and education and healthcare. And I know I'm talking here American-oriented issues, but it's things to one degree or another that are still existing around the world. All over good old Sol 3 here, this planet we natively call Earth, that aliens often call Terra, but Terra just means Earth in your language. So yeah, we're all making choices right now. I'm going to get down to a protest. I don't want to have it be a token visit. I just want to be at finally the time that makes sense. And I don't want it to be a little wussy day either. And I will be heavily masked. You can depend on that. So that's a choice for me as the days go by, but it's also been a choice to do what I can here from my bunker, we otherwise call Trekland HQ, to do what I can for all those agencies and for boosting the signal of Star Trek and all its ramifications. And I really, really, whether you're one of my portales, or you're a Patreon, or you're just here supporting, the chat here with community and with companionship, and talking to people around the world that you wouldn't be otherwise doing, comparing notes. That is one thing that we're able to do now. That's amazing. And yeah. So, once again, let me invite you to let me invite you to sort out my stack of cards for the follow-up. No, guys, thanks a lot. Trekland Nonfiction Friday is 3 on Friday, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. Go to the Facebook page, check it out. You can go to the event page and get the Zoom ID and the password hint. Just message me if you can't figure out the password, the hint for it, okay? It's a date related to Star. One of the two of the most famous dates. It's the one that existed in real life, okay? Got that? That's Nonfiction Friday. It's ending soon. What's not ending soon, though, is Life Support Live on Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Get on the Facebook page here, please. Like it and join us, and then you can vote on the poll, and of course just post the way you do on Trekland on my Observation Lounge background page. Any of my pages are pretty much open for people to post on. Love to see you here. Love to see you. Go and like and subscribe on my YouTube, especially about the show. One more time, the Patreon. It's Tuesdays live. I appreciate any support you can help me here. It's actually starting to help a little bit here. Some of it's more about time than money, but money helps these days. If you're where you are, I hope you're where you are, where you can donate to these agencies or still help your creatives like me that you want to support the communities. I hope we have not going to see the bottom fall out from under all of us. Otherwise, the thing. It's Twitter. Am I still in sync? I think I am. Yeah. It's the Trek Files. Dr. Aaron Mack is back. We're talking about science consulting and Star Trek, and specifically in, I'm trying to think what it is we talk about. But it's a pitch that did not happen on Roots Next Generation, but still it's the role of the science advisor coming up with new science to even talk about. It's the proactive end of the science advisor, not the reactive end. A lot of fun stuff. And of course, Dr. Erin, and those of you who have met her, seen her live on stage or on the cruise, she's awesome. And our science end is in very good, a worthy successor to Andre and Narain. And yes, Jesko von Puttkamer and good old Harvey P. Lynn from Rand. But it's the Trek Files on Facebook with the docs. And most of all, Twitter, at Larry Nemecek. That's the YouTube channel. I really, 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 even if you're not a YouTuber, please go over and like and subscribe. We're trying to get me over 1,000 subscribers now before I catapult up. We're creeping in on 1,000. So please like and subscribe and go share on YouTube, even if you don't watch anything I do on YouTube. I'd really, really, really appreciate it. But Larry Nemecek's Trekland is where you're watching on Facebook right now. It's the same as my Instagram channel. And yeah, Portal47.net. You can go over and see a couple of specials we're running. It's our mini-con all year long. We've got Portales on here. Guys, it continues to almost feel like a new week, a new show every week. I'm still learning new stuff here on my new toys. Maybe someday we'll clean up this mess and have a beautiful, shiny studio here once we expand the picture here. Here's the big picture clarity and sanity in Trekland HQ. But most of all, guys, I just want to thank everybody for being there. I haven't been watching the chat here at the end, so I'll try to get back and see. I'll try to survive and save this combo chat as one piece. I don't know where to post them yet, so that all the Twitch, I see the Twitch and thank you for the Twitch moderation, everybody that was over there, Robert and Christoph. You sent somebody away happy and satisfied. That's a first for Tuesdays or Saturdays. But thanks everybody for being out there. We're all going to get through all of this crazy together. We will be stronger. We will be further along the path to Star Trek. And I hope that doesn't include the Bell Riots and World War III. I would be happy to break canon. And leave poor Bozeman, Montana intact when we get to that point. Anyway, till then, guys, as I said before, as I say every week, stay healthy, stay woke, and Trek well, everybody. Oh, I can. This is funny. This is funny. Can I do this from here? Can I end the show from here? I can. Now, I'm really going to trek well.